My boyfriend's mother is a crazy Karen and she tries to sabotage us. Hey there, I'm Ellie, a 19-year-old who lives with my single dad. Together, we run a small bookstore that's like our own little world. Life has been pretty ordinary, but then I met Alex, the sweetest guy ever, and things were about to get crazy in our relationship. So buckle up, because I'm about to take you on a wild ride through our journey of love, family, and the challenges that came our way. I live with my single dad, and we've been inseparable for as long as I can remember. Together, we've built up a small bookstore that we're both really proud of. My dad has always been my rock, and our shop is like our little piece of heaven. One hectic Wednesday afternoon, we were both working at our store when a kid came rushing in, eyes wide with excitement. He wasn't paying attention to his surroundings and ended up bumping into a display of books, sending them all crashing to the floor. I quickly caught the kid before he fell, ensuring he didn't get hurt. "Hey there, are you okay?" I asked, genuinely concerned. The kid looked up at me, apparently unharmed, and retorted, "Yeah, I'm fine." Suddenly, a very loud but high-pitched yell from across the store. "But why'd you put a display here?" "I want to see the manager." Before I could even find out where all that yelling came from, the kid's mom marched in, her face a mixture of fury and entitlement. "What's the meaning of this?" "You should have made sure the area was safe for my child," she barked at me. Trying to maintain my composure, I responded, "Ma'am, the display has been there for quite some time. It's your responsibility to watch your child." The woman, let's call her Karen for now, started yelling back at me. The situation was spiraling out of control, and I felt my patience wearing thin. Thankfully, my dad came to the rescue. He stepped in between us, attempting to defuse the tension. But Karen was relentless. She gave my dad a scornful once-over and scoffed, "Oh, look at you two. Just a couple of nobodies. Teach your daughter some manners." Her words stung, but I wasn't about to let her insult my dad without a fight. "How dare you?" I shot back, my anger reaching its peak. The argument quickly escalated, and we ended up exchanging heated words and slapping each other until my dad intervened, looking alarmed. As Karen stormed out of our store, I couldn't help but feel shaken. I had heard stories about dealing with difficult Karen, but I never imagined just how draining it could be. And this wouldn't be the last time I'd have a run-in with this Karen. After the stressful event at the bookstore, I noticed that my dad seemed very sad and hurt. It made me even more upset. I needed someone to talk to, so I called up my boyfriend, Alex. He's always been such a caring and understanding person to me since we began dating, and I knew he'd be there for me. I vented to him about everything that happened for about 40 minutes, and he listened patiently, offering comforting words. A little while later, the doorbell rang. To my surprise, it was Alex, standing there with a huge bouquet of roses and a small jewelry box in his hands. "Cheer up, Ellie," he said with a warm smile. "I got these for you." I couldn't help but grin as I took the bouquet from him. "Thank you, Alex. The roses are beautiful, but you should keep the jewelry." He looked puzzled and asked, "Why? Don't you like it?" I sighed, "It's not that. I'm actually allergic to nickel and gold. But I really appreciate the thought." Hearing this, Alex immediately apologized with a sigh of relief. "I'm so sorry, Ellie. I didn't know." "I'll remember that for next time." We had only been dating for a couple of months, so there were still things we were learning about each other. Then, Alex had a fantastic idea. "Hey, I know this might sound random, but what if we go shopping this weekend to find something nice for your dad? It might cheer him up after dealing with that horrible woman." I happily agreed, excited about the prospect of spending time with Alex and finding a gift to brighten my dad's spirits. Right, let's hit the mall this weekend and get him something he likes. The weekend rolled around, and Alex and I hit the mall together. We spent hours browsing through various stores, looking for the perfect gift to lift my dad's mood. I felt so grateful to have Alex by my side, supporting both me and my dad during this horrible time. On Saturday morning, Alex picked me up and took me to an exclusive shopping center I had never been to before. It was filled with high-end boutiques and luxury brands, a far cry from the cozy little toy store my dad and I ran. I couldn't help but feel slightly out of place, but Alex reassured me that it was okay to treat ourselves once in a while. We started off at Sephora, where I picked out a few things for myself and even got some skincare for my dad as a bonus gift. After spending some time there, we moved on to Louis Vuitton to find the main present for my dad. We spent a good amount of time browsing through the store, discussing various options and joking around, enjoying each other's company. Moments later, Alex left the store to go to another store to buy some gifts for his family. I kept looking around to find a perfect gift for my dad. Finally, I settled on a nice wallet that I knew my dad would love. We went to the checkout counter, and as I was rummaging through my purse to find my card, I suddenly felt a hand grab the wallet from me. I turned around, and to my disbelief, it was Karen, the same rude woman from our store. "I want something like this," she declared smugly, holding the wallet up to the sales associate. "And it seems like it's the last one." Feeling my anger bubble up, I snatched the wallet back from her. "You're not taking this from me, Karen," I spat, trying to keep my cool. Her face contorted with rage, and she snapped, "What are you doing here? Don't you have some cheap toy store to run?" Ignoring her snide remarks, I confidently paid for the wallet, determined not to let her ruin our day. "I was quicker than you, old lady, better luck next time." As I left the store, Alex had finished buying what he needed and was waiting for me at the elevator. I told him about what happened with Karen earlier. He tried to lighten the mood by joking about the encounter. "Wow, she must really have a thing for wallets," he chuckled. I laughed along, but I couldn't help but wonder what the odds were of running into her again. Unfortunately, our paths would cross once more, and the stakes would be even higher. Little did I know that Karen was about to become an even bigger part of our lives, making things far more complicated than I could have ever imagined. After my encounter with Karen at the shopping center, Alex and I decided to grab lunch at a nearby cafe. We chatted about our future plans and reminisced about the good times we had shared in the short 2 months we had been dating. Just as I was starting to relax and put the Karen incident behind me, I spotted her again, sitting a few tables away from us. "Alex, it's her again," I whispered, nodding towards Karen. He looked in her direction, and his eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, that's my mom, Carol Thompson." "I can't believe it," he stammered. As if on cue, Carol spotted us and sauntered over to our table with a wide smile plastered on her face. "Alex, dear, what a pleasant surprise." Her attitude was completely opposite to when she turned to me. "And you must be Ellie. It's so nice to finally meet you," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. It gave me chills. I was completely taken aback, but I managed to stutter a greeting. I couldn't believe this woman who had been so rude to me was Alex's mother. It was like some twisted joke. Throughout lunch, Carol pretended to be kind and attentive to me, constantly asking about my life and interests. But something about her demeanor felt off, and I couldn't help but be suspicious of her true intentions. "So, Ellie, how did you and my son meet?" Carol asked, her eyes narrowing slightly as she sipped her coffee. I hesitated, feeling uneasy under her intense gaze, but I told her the story of how Alex and I had met through mutual friends at a party. She seemed to be listening intently, but her eyes held a calculating glint that made me uncomfortable. As lunch went on, Carol continued to act friendly, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was testing me, trying to find some fault or weakness she could use against me. It was as if she had suddenly transformed into a completely different person, and I couldn't help but wonder which version of her was real. After lunch, it was already late, as Alex and I said our goodbyes to Carol. She smiled and said with a fake enthusiasm, "Nice to meet you, sweetie. Now if you'll excuse me, I have some place to be." She quickly walked past us and hit me on the shoulder. I caught her giving me a chilling, knowing smile. My heart raced as I realized I would have to tread carefully around this woman. I had no idea what she was capable of, but I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't let her tear Alex and me apart. A few days after the lunch with Carol, Alex invited me to spend the day at a nearby amusement park. I was excited to have some fun and temporarily forget about the recent drama with his mother. Little did I know, our day was about to be far from drama-free. As we walked through the park gates, we bumped into Carol, who seemed to have anticipated our arrival. She was accompanied by a girl our age, who she introduced as Mia, her best friend's daughter. "Fancy meeting you two here. Mind if we join you?" she asked, her voice dripping with faux innocence. Alex, ever the polite gentleman, agreed to let them tag along. I braced myself for a challenging day, determined not to let Carol ruin our date. Throughout the day, Carol seemed to be on a mission to sabotage our fun. She made sure to always sit between Alex and me on the rides, conveniently forcing Mia to sit next to Alex. I noticed her smirking at me when she successfully separated us, but I refused to let her antics bother me. During lunch, Carol continued her tricks, accidentally spilling her drink on me and then feigning concern. "Oh, Ellie, I'm so sorry. I'm just so clumsy sometimes," she said, but her eyes held a mischievous glint. Despite her attempts to ruin our day, Alex and I managed to have a great time. We laughed and joked, making the best of the situation. However, I knew that Carol's antics wouldn't stop there. Later, as we lined up for the Ferris wheel, Carol pulled her most daring stunt yet. She accidentally tripped me, causing me to fall and scrape my knee. I gritted my teeth in pain as she pretended to be shocked and concerned. Alex, finally noticing his mother's suspicious behavior, confronted her. "Mom, what's going on? Why are you acting like this?" Carol feigned innocence, claiming that it was all a series of unfortunate accidents. But as we walked away, I saw her exchange a sly grin with Mia, confirming my suspicions. Despite the setbacks, Alex and I enjoyed the rest of our day at the amusement park, trying not to let Carol's pranks ruin our date. However, I knew that we were far from done dealing with her schemes. And as much as I wanted to keep my relationship with Alex separate from his mother, I knew it was only a matter of time before we would have to confront her together. The amusement park fiasco made it clear that something had to be done about Carol's relentless sabotage attempts. As Alex and I walked to our car, hand in hand, I told him about my feelings and my suspicion that his mom did this to sabotage our relationship, with the help of Mia, of course. Lucky, Alex is a sympathetic man. He promised to help me expose his mother's deceit and Mia's involvement in her schemes. A week later, Alex's family hosted a small gathering at their home and told me and my dad to come. It was the perfect opportunity for us to confront Carol and Mia. As we prepared ourselves, Alex reassured me, "Don't worry, Ellie. We'll figure this out together." During the gathering, we kept a close eye on Carol and Mia. The two of them whispered and giggled together, clearly up to no good. As the evening progressed, things got a little heated, as Carol kept accusing me try to seduce Alex because of his family money. I stood up in anger and accidentally spilled the soup on me. Embarrassed, I decided to excuse myself to use the restroom. On my way back, I caught a glimpse of Mia sneaking into Carol's room. Curious, I followed her and saw her picking up a gold antique jar and slipping it into her bag. I couldn't believe my eyes. Mia was stealing from her own friend's family. I confronted her immediately. Mia, what are you doing? Are you stealing from them? Mia's face went pale, and she screamed, drawing attention to the scene. As everyone rushed to the room, she pointed at me, accusing me of trying to steal the jar. And Carol didn't miss a beat. She dropped the insulting bomb at me. I knew it. Only beggars like you resort to stealing. My heart raced as I tried to defend myself, but before I could say anything, Alex stepped in. Ellie is allergic to gold, remember? She would never touch that jar. Now, let's see what's in your bag, Mia, he said, his voice firm and determined. Alex looked so cool when he stood up for me. Mia's face turned red as she reluctantly handed over her bag. Sure enough, the antique jar was inside. Carol stared at her, disbelief written all over her face. I went over and looked at the jar. As my skin came in contact with the golden surface, it immediately reddened. Carol, I may not come from a wealthy background, but I would never steal from someone I care about, I said, looking her in the eye. Carol, finally realizing the truth, apologized to me. Ellie, I'm so sorry for all the trouble I've caused you. I didn't know Mia would go this far. From that day forward, Carol treated me with respect and kindness. She even apologized to my dad for her previous behavior. Our relationship slowly began to heal, and I could finally enjoy my time with Alex without worrying about his mother's schemes. After the confrontation, Carol genuinely began to change. She not only treated me with respect but also started to make an effort to include me in family events. It was a pleasant surprise, to say the least. Alex's support through it all only made our bond stronger. One day, Alex and I were at his house, chatting with Carol in the living room. Ellie, I'm sorry for how I treated you in the past, Carol said sincerely. I hope we can put it all behind us and start fresh. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that, I replied, smiling. Over the next few weeks, Carol and I found ourselves getting to know each other better. We even started to enjoy each other's company, shopping together and sharing stories about our families. As our relationship improved, so did the relationship between our families. Carol suggested inviting my dad over for dinner, and we all agreed it would be a great idea. In preparation for the evening, Carol, Alex, and I spent time together, planning the menu and making sure everything would be perfect for my dad's visit. On the day of the dinner, my dad arrived at Alex's house, carrying a wrapped package. He was a little nervous, but Alex and Carol warmly welcomed him. The atmosphere was light and cheerful as we all sat down to eat. We shared stories and laughter throughout the meal, and it was clear that everyone was genuinely enjoying each other's company. After dinner, my dad handed the wrapped package to Alex's younger brother, Tim. I heard you like superheroes, so I brought you something special from our store, he said. Tim excitedly tore off the wrapping paper, revealing a collection of comic books of his favorite superhero. His eyes lit up as he held those books. This is amazing. Thank you so much, he exclaimed, beaming with joy. Everyone in the room shared a warm, happy moment. The past misunderstandings and conflicts had finally been resolved, and our families were growing closer. Alex and I exchanged loving glances, grateful for the love and support we had received from both sides. The reconciliation and newfound harmony between our families were a testament to the power of understanding and forgiveness. Together, we looked forward to building even stronger relationships and creating many more happy memories. With the support of our loved ones, Alex and I felt confident that we could face any challenges that life might throw at us. As I looked back on the journey we had taken, I couldn't help but feel grateful for the love and support we had found in each other. Through understanding and forgiveness, we had turned a difficult situation into a beautiful, loving connection between our families. And that, I realized, was something truly special.